not who I used to be. Find some.
Oh my god, seriously? So you're gonna do this weird... Like, I assumed he was gonna do something somewhat creative, but no. 327,000 subscribers, and this guy, for his ultimate joke against Obi-Wan Kenobi, will be doing fart noises during the show. Well done. Well done. He figured out the ultimate joke, fart noises, when he shows a clip from Obi-Wan Kenobi. Well done, bro. This organized chaos video is brought to you by Gems Art Studio. This video is also brought to you by viewers like you. Thank you. Hello again. So I've gotten lots of requests to cover Robot Head. And I actually have done the video that most people have requested I cover, but it's getting postponed because it was like 7 months old. It's the Last Jedi video that I did not that long ago. Fun fact, people still do Last Jedi videos because people can't get over that movie for some goddamn reason. Move on, please. But anyways, I covered that, and that'll come out after I finish all the Obi-Wan stuff, because I find the reaction to this series just so goddamn fascinating, because it's like, Jesus Christ, people, relax. Yeah, it's got issues, but it's fine. Get a grip, people. People are acting like it's the worst thing ever. It's fine. Get a grip. But anyways, we are going to go into Robot Head. I'm excited to release the video I did talk about The Last Jedi bit, because I actually found his analysis of Last Jedi really fucking bad. Mainly because he didn't seem to actually understand a lot of it. Like, he'd point out, oh, this is bad. And I'm not sure if he didn't understand it or if he was just kind of lying, because he'd point out scenes that, oh, this is done this way. And it's like, yeah. Did you miss the point in the story where that was done on purpose? Like, clearly? But anyways, we'll get to that when we get to that. But now we're going to be looking at his Obi-Wan video, because that's what we're stuck on. Because that's what these people are stuck on. The hate for Obi-Wan. Lucasfilm hates everything to do with the Jedi. Obi-Wan right there. This is undoubtedly going to be another one of these videos talking about, Luke Skywalker lost the way of the Force, and he would never lose the way of the Force, and then he just has to find himself, and we hate that because how dare he have an arc in The Last Jedi. And it's going to be the same thing with Obi-Wan. How dare Obi-Wan kind of get depressed and kind of get sad because everything he ever knew was killed or destroyed. How dare he get down in the dumps about that? How dare he finds himself after that? How dare he? I'm sure it's going to be the same type of thing, but we will see. Let's find out.
You can't win, Darth. If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
I'm not who I used to be. Find some.
Oh my god, seriously? So you're gonna do this weird... Like, I assumed he was gonna do something somewhat creative, but no. 327,000 subscribers, and this guy, for his ultimate joke against Obi-Wan Kenobi, will be doing fart noises during the show. Well done. Well done. He figured out the ultimate joke, fart noises, when he shows a clip from Obi-Wan Kenobi. Well done, bro. Jesus, come on, man.
Someone else.
Go away!
Remember at the end of Revenge of the Sith, after everything Obi-Wan had been through, he was still a strong Jedi wanting to do the right thing, a true hero that never gave up? Well, remember no more, because it's Obi-Wan's turn to be Disneyfied. So you know what that means. Everything you know about Obi-Wan is wrong.
I haven't gone by the name of Obi-Wan since all before you were born.
So yeah, it's exactly what I said before the video. God, he's gonna spend 24 minutes on this? Oh.
What are you doing here, Obi-Wan?
She needs you, Obi-Wan.
Now, one of my favourite things about Ewan coming back to the part, besides the fact that he can act, which, after watching Boba Fett, is like a little ray of sunshine, is watching Ewan McGregor try and convince the world he's excited to be in Star Wars again. And it's not just because they're paying him a fortune.
Why is everybody so interested in Star Wars?
I love that slight smile. Read his eyes, you can just see what he's thinking. Fuck me, here we go again.
Do you feel you have unfinished business, though, with Star Wars? It'd be nice to kind of get some...
I like how all these guys like to look at, like, oh, look at the look in his eyes. He did come back. I mean, sure, maybe he's just doing it for the money. What? There was that Grand Northam show. Let's see if I can dig that up. Yeah, this is. I don't believe they were. Were they in talks for an Obi-Wan show at this time? I think they might have been. But yeah, this is him showing off, like this before they were filming. Him showing off.
I officially don't own a lightsaber. Props guy gave me one. No, he didn't.
Because we bought some
did you?
lightsabers, which they're pretty good, aren't they? No, oh, that one's on already.
Oh, hang on.
Oh, hang on.
You have to know what you're doing with these, you see.
You do, though.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want that? Is that which one would you like? Which one looks like yours?
The one in the middle is, I think, the one I use. That's Alec Guinness's one.
Oh, then it's yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
These
are really nice.
It's amazing.
How do you turn that
Can
one
you
on?
bang them against each other? Will they break? Oh, no, they won't.
But you make the sound effects yourself, don't you? Do you want one?
Not at all.
There's one. Come on. There you go. There you go. Go.
You get a good swing.
Oh,
going
look
on.
at that! What? That's fantastic. But can you make the noises?
Oh, is it true that you did this thing? I'm sure you've been asked this 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Like in Rocky, they did this in Rocky as well, where they had to, you would make the sound effects yourselves. So they had to go back and, like, sound was a nightmare because it was a bunch of people going, vroom.
No, it wasn't. To begin with, it was quite difficult not to make the sound.
Yeah.
And also when it goes away, because it makes that nice noise when it goes down.
Oh, yes.
How do you switch
Have you
it
heard
off?
that in Rocky, that apparently, like, in the first film particularly, it's just loads of sound effects of Sylvester Stallone going...
Okay, let's have the light. Let's have the lights down. Let's have lights down.
Okay, so
lights down.
you have to start them up.
Oh, okay. So off.
How do you do that?
Much to learn.
There. Oh, there. It's off now.
Oh, there you go. Sorry, got it.
There you go.
Okay, so when you put it on, it has to make this sound noise. Nice.
You're so good at it.
I did. I spent months doing it. Mine keeps going off though when I twirl it.
I could. Ow! It'll break. They'll break. They're
Oh,
150
see, hang on.
quid each.
How much are they cost?
150 quid each. They're good though, aren't they? Are you good at cricket? If I throw you something, can you get it over? Do it over here. Hang on, I'll throw this here.
Wait, who's who?
There you go. Actually, I should be. Can you throw a ball, Chris?
Oh, don't be like that.
I can't throw anything.
Don't be, no.
You go. Okay, here we go.
All right, we're going. Let's baseball it.
Baseball
then.
it instead.
Okay.
Yay! Well done. Very good.
Okay, so I didn't have much to add, other than that clip kind of just clearly shows that Ewan kind of loves Star Wars. If you watch that and you don't think Ewan digs Star Wars, then I don't know, you're missing something.
Some kind of closure, I guess, with that.
No.
But we've learnt that Ewan knows how to get the checks cleared.
If I could meet one Star Wars creature, who would it be? Well, I'd like to meet Jar Jar again. Maybe we could bring him back. That's where it ends for me. I don't have a burning need to do it again or indeed any sort of fascination for the movies that everyone else seems to have. I don't really have that.
So we start with what is already an odd choice. We are back at the fall of the Jedi Temple. And don't get me wrong, this scene is good. And any location that is not the deserts of Tatooine is a fucking blessing. But when opening a show called Obi-Wan Kenobi, a love character we haven't seen for close to 20 years, you would think they'd want to start by showcasing Obi-Wan.
No, what's wrong with showing the events that put him in the current situation he's in? I mean, specifically, killing the younglings wasn't it, but the fall of the Jedi was a huge part of where his characters ended up. So showing that would make sense.
Is that kid meant to be Reva? Now, they could still have this scene as a flashback later on, but to open with it didn't really fill me with confidence that this show wasn't going to turn into the Reva show.
What do we do now? We run.
God, this narrative that it's the Reva show. You know, Obi-Wan has way more screen time and has, like, much more of a clear arc than Reva has so far, and Reva's just essentially a villain. Just get over it, man.
Those big screens that Lucasfilm shoot on are super impressive. You always feel the actors haven't got enough room to get a good run-up before crashing into one of the screen walls. Well, I suppose it could be worse.
Let's go.
How come we never see the Jedi run fast again? Then slap me hard, we're straight back to the busiest fucking outpost in the fucking galaxy, Tatooine. The one story that should take us back to Tatooine comes out after Lucasfilm have just spent 3 years saturating us with shit Tatooine content. I just can't take seeing that same colour palette again for the third bloody
3? I mean, a lot of Boba Fett is on Tatooine. What else is on Tatooine? I'm confused. Am I missing something? Maybe it's an animated series.
show in a row. It reminds me of the stupid Walking Dead with its muted, earthy colour palette it used season after boring season. How come not one bastard was wearing bright yellow when the zombie apocalypse started? Anyhow, we're not here to talk about bad TV show fashion, but yes we are. I just did a whole video on the bad costumes in modern Star Wars. I should have waited to include these guys. The Inquisitors. Another wonderful creation from Dave Filoni, whose main talent is making bastardized versions of once great ideas. Like having people fly with lightsabers. Awesome. You fucking idiot. So you might have been mistaken in thinking with these.
Well, I've not seen people fly lightsabers. That being said, like, I don't know why they would really use the propeller. But, I mean, the idea of somebody using the Force to fly doesn't seem that outlandish.
Cool get-ups and red lightsabers, then we were getting some badass Sith action in this show. But you see, the Sith have this pesky rule of 2 thing, where only 2 Sith Lords can exist at any one time. Very cool concept that made the Emperor's and Vader's relationship more unique. The idea created a very dark, evil existence for the Sith, where the search for power outweighed any type of loyalty. As an audience member, it really made you understand how evil the dark side was. But in the cartoon-inspired Disney Star Wars world we're now in, that idea is out the fucking window. There's no longer just 2 evil dudes with red lightsabers. You can now have as many as you fucking want. Because who cares about special?
Well, I mean, that had been around, I remember, like Old Republic time period, there's lots of Sith. Okay.
More of everything is the only way for the mass moron consumer. And even though the characters are the same as the Sith in every way, we're going to pretend they're a Dave Filoni creation. We're going to call them Inquisitors. So that's what you call having your cake and eating it too. And by 2, I mean, fuck the 2 Sith rule. We just want as many baddies as we can. Live action Star Wars should be building on the incredible work founded by George Lucas in the movies, not continuing on from a side project cartoon that Dave Filoni was in charge of.
Yeah, but they can't, like, George Lucas isn't making new Star Wars content, so they have to make new Star Wars content, and they bought the rights to do that. What, do you suggest they buy Star Wars for $4 billion and then just have George Lucas make everything? Let's not forget the prequels are not perfect. In fact, the prequels are unbelievably flawed.
Who doesn't want to be a mother?
This is a setback for all women.
Now, surprisingly, I really like this dude, even though he looks like the guy heading home in a taxi after a mate's fancy dress party, where it was a little too hot and he had too many beers. He looks like shit. Are they even trying with the makeup these days? Why does he look melted? I also like this dude a lot. He looked very cool and comes across very intimidating. He seems very Star Warsy.
Stand down, third sister.
Which caused the problem when you placed him next to Reva. Why does this character look so completely different from the other Inquisitors? Why no makeup or cool helmet? Why does she have to look so ordinary? Reva looks like she got herself a knockoff Darth Vader costume for...
Well, lots of times, like if you look at them, it looks like they have cybernetic implants, and that's usually why they look off in Star Wars universe. That being said, I just assume she doesn't have cybernetic implants.
a friend's party, and when she was...
And there's plenty of people that look normal in the Star Wars universe, so why is it, like, weird for other people to look normal, but she should look weird?
drunk she lost the helmet, which makes sense, because she also acts like the angry drunk girl at a party.
Tell me where the Jedi is, or this man and his family die.
Apparently Moses Ingram got to have a say in her final look. Now, there's a reason we don't let actors do costuming, but that's not the biggest problem with Reva. Poor Moses is being
fine.
completely let down by the director, because any actor can give a bad performance if they're not guided by the director on set. Just look at Russell Crowe in Virtuosity. Fuck. I've seen dogs vomiting up grass give better performances than he did in that film. And he went on to be Maximus, which I'm sure is about to be remade starring Moses. A calm, measured delivery is always way more frightening, especially when your character's meant to have incredible skills, can use a lightsaber, and kill people with magic. Maul didn't even speak, let alone shout. But enough of that, because
Yeah, well, she's a different person than those other characters. Do you just want them to repeat the same villain over and over again?
I don't want the mad mob coming after me. So the Inquisitors are hunting Jedi. And lo and behold, there's a Jedi on Tatooine. Now, it was always thought that Obi-Wan took Luke to Tatooine because no one, and I mean no one, would turn up all the way out there in that godforsaken place. But not 5 minutes into this show, and not only are the Inquisitors on Tatooine, and extremely close to Luke, another Jedi is also in Tatooine. It's as if...
Okay, well, this is fairly easy to explain, actually, because they thought they could hide Luke there because it's a remote place off in the desert. Now, it would make sense for Lost Jedi who are trying to hide to also go there because it's a remote place off in the desert.
If modern Lucasfilm don't understand Star Wars at all.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Because they have made so many stupid story decisions in so many different parts of the Star Wars timeline that all they can do now is dig larger and deeper plot holes. It's quite fucking amazing.
Okay, go over a plot hole with me. Come on.
I know of such things.
This show not only makes characters in the original trilogy and prequels look stupid, it also makes the characters in their own productions look like idiots. As an example, for some reason current Lucasfilm decided that the Jedi were either quickly forgotten about or not even widely known about. It was even decided that the Mandalorian wouldn't know anything about the Jedi, a bizarre decision that added nothing to his story. All it did do was remove any chance of Mando having any character depth when dealing with the Jedi. His relationship with them was that of a blank slate. Yet here we are, a time when
Well, I assumed he grew up largely in isolation with the Mandalorian tribe, and that's why he didn't know much about the Jedi. But that's also a tool to teach the audience about stuff in case they aren't familiar with it, which would be crazy, but it's possible. It doesn't seem far-fetched for him if he lived isolated, though.
Mando was around 20 years old. And not only does everyone know about the Jedi, everyone also knows about the Empire's ex-Jedi squad that fly around the universe screaming about killing the Jedi all the time. Doesn't really fit in with the forgetting story.
Well, this is 10 years after the fall of the Jedi. And if they're actively out there hunting Jedi and there are Jedi running around, yeah.
You know who we are.
Inquisitors.
You know what we do?
You hunt Jedi.
I know of such things.
But worse still is how it makes Luke look like a complete idiot. Now, at least Luke had heard of the Jedi, but he knew very little about them. He had never seen or heard anything about lightsabers or the Force.
The Force?
Are we meant to believe that the Inquisitors were flying into...
Well, Luke grew up on an old farm, isolated as well. Also, it would make sense for his uncle to try to filter stuff out because of his family history. This isn't far-fetched. The whole idea was essentially his uncle is not telling about his father, and also because of the Jedi, which is something Obi-Wan taught him about. That's that movie.
Oh, and he can't stay here forever. Most of his friends have gone. It means so much to him.
I'll make it up to him next year. I promise.
Luke's just not a farmer, Owen. He has too much of his father in him.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Town, cutting people down with lightsabers and using the Force, and somehow not one friend or shop owner or droid ever mentioned anything about the violent magic show that just happened in town. None of these people seem surprised about seeing a lightsaber or the Force, but
Well, did young Luke go to town by himself? I wouldn't think so. Maybe, but...
farm boy Luke doesn't have a clue. I'm guessing George wanted to establish that Luke lived in a far-off place that hadn't seen this type of lightsaber Force action since the fall of the Jedi.
We must take them somewhere with...
No, the implication was that his uncle wasn't teaching him about such things.
The Sith will not sense their presence.
And seeing as Luke has never left the planet, it was easy to believe he wouldn't know anything about lightsabers or the Force. But with all this going on around him only a few years before A New Hope, Luke now looks like an idiot.
What is it?
Well, 10 years, and yeah, his uncle isolated him from such things. I mean, it also seems pretty clear that Tatooine, at least the part of Tatooine they're at, is kind of a crime-ridden place. So, yeah, trying to keep him out of there makes sense.
Father's lightsaber.
So our first taste of the Inquisitors really sets up how up and down this show's going to be. We have a great scene where the Grand Inquisitor is explaining how he exposes the Jedi. Personally, I thought seeing as the Inquisitors are ex-Jedi, I thought they'd just be able to sense other Jedi, but apparently not. His way of relying on the Jedi's compassion for other people was interesting, right up to the point where these super powerful beings were stopped by the flimsiest awning in the galaxy. Their whole purpose is to track down and kill Jedi, and this bit of thin material made them give up on the chase.
What chase after scraps?
Scraps are all we have left.
Then we should be hunting bigger prey.
Scraps is all we have left? Then we should hunt bigger prey? Who writes this garbage? Only having scraps left would imply you've already got the bigger prey.
Okay, like the whole awning thing's kind of bugging me, because it's like, yeah, he got lost in the crowd very quickly while the awning was down. And I assume their plan is just kind of surround the town and capture him.
Oh well, we then finally get to the guy that the show is named after. I never expected Obi-Wan to spend his days working in a fish factory, but Disney only know to do one type of Jedi, and that's as a miserable loser who has turned his back on the Jedi ways, which would be fucking fine if George's films didn't exist, because if you've...
Oh, we're right back to it. Oh, God. You know, the idea of Obi-Wan having a downtime in between A New Hope and Revenge of the Sith makes sense. Like, a time where, like, the New World Order is kind of set in. Jedi are being hunted. Everything he knew is something that will get him killed and get Luke killed. So he's turning his back on it to shut down. This is actually a logical place for him to be. He is not happy at all, but this is the best way to protect Luke, is kind of stand by, but also not do anything Jedi-ish.
If you watch the George Lucas Star Wars films, this version of Obi-Wan doesn't make any fucking sense.
Something you want to say?
It would have been awesome if the Lucasfilm writers had used some imagination and done something like made Obi-Wan a complete undercover badass who lived in town before retiring up.
Yes, let's just make Obi-Wan fucking James Bond. Why the fuck not?
Into the hills as old Ben.
I'm sorry, I'm not ready to die.
With all that Jedi training he had, he could have changed his identity and worked in security or as a local pilot that would keep an eye on everyone.
Yeah, except he doesn't want to fucking stick out.
Coming and going from the area to make sure no one was getting close to Luke. He could have been connected with all the people in the know, and his call sign could have been Airwolf. Then one day, bam, surprise motherfuckers, Airwolf's really a Jedi. Yes, that's just one idea, but anything would be good, as long as we don't get another old depressed Jedi that has just given up. Surely they're not going to do that again.
And don't call me Shirley.
A quick...
God, they can't get over that. Yes, people go through down times. The people get knocked down in life. You're allowed to get knocked down in life. The key is, as long as you get back up, you're okay. And that's what these stories are about. People getting knocked down and getting back up.
Quick thanks to today's sponsor, Skillshare. They are lovely.
Fuck's sake.
Skillshare. And tell them Robot Head sends you.
Stand down, third sister.
But if you do like the fish market scene and the return to home writing scene, you're in luck. This first episode has so much filler. We get to see him at work and travelling home.
It's not filler. It's learning about his life right now. This, like, when you see him doing things repeatedly, that's just showing you that he's doing the same thing over and over again. He's not happy.
Separate times. We get to see Obi-Wan checking on.
Yeah, almost like they're making a point of how he's doing the same thing over and over again and not happy.
Luke, which by the looks of it could be the only time we do. We then see Obi-Wan get a visit from the younger Jedi that somehow escaped the Inquisitors. Now this visit brings up a lot of bloody questions. But before we get to those questions, and fucking many others, I want to clear up some confusion that Disney defenders have with critics of these shows. You see, there are two types of so-called fans that try and enjoy these shows. There's one group that are all the people that fell in love with the Star Wars story, the fantasy of it, Luke's hero's journey, Vader's redemption, Anakin's downfall, Obi-Wan's journey from a warrior to a selfless old man who dedicated his life to just living on his own so he could watch over his friend's son. And then there are fans that fell in love with the Star Wars brand. And it's the brand that's important. They'll proudly tell you they love everything that's Star Wars, even though a lot of them seem to hate the original trilogy. To them, recognizing familiar things is the only requirement. Their excitement to see a character again outweighs any.
Wow, it seems like a really shallow way to dismiss a shit ton of fans. You know, they're essentially saying there's some true fans that really like Star Wars, and then there's some fans that don't really like Star Wars. They just like, you know, pretty toys. It's like, dude, fuck you.
Anything, even if those characters are fucking up the original story or creating gigantic plot holes. The second group, the brand lovers, fucking hate the first group, the story lovers.
Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe fuck yourself.
They don't understand how story matters or why people care about it. See?
I love how he's dismissing people who don't understand story, where he himself has continuously misunderstood stories, just repeatedly. And I assume purposely, because he will outrageously misrepresent things and say, this is what this is. And it's like, that's the point. That's why that was done. Obi-Wan going into work and going home. It's showing a pattern. It's showing that he's doing the same thing over and over again. And it's killing him inside. He hates it. This is not his old Jedi life. This is him living essentially undercover, trying to hide who he is so that no harm comes to Luke or anybody around.
Scenes play as standalone events in their heads, which makes them all enjoyable, as they don't lead to anything else. This second group, watch this new Jedi dude just walk up to Obi-Wan on this far-off planet in the middle of nowhere and don't once think, how the fuck did this guy know that Obi-Wan lives here? Did Obi-Wan do a Luke and leave a stupid map to his location, even though he didn't want to be found? If this guy found him, who else knows he lives there? Does Reva know? Because out of all the millions of planets in the Star Wars universe she could be on, she just happens to talk about finding Obi-Wan while standing not only on the planet Obi-Wan lives on, but in the same town he goes through every day. Was that just a coincidence? Or does she know he lives here? Well, apparently that was a coincidence, because she doesn't know he lives here. We could have had a scene where Reva senses that Tatooine is connected to Obi-Wan in some way. Or seeing as she strangely seems to know so much about him, she could have even found out that Obi-Wan once used Tatooine for refuge, and maybe he was doing it again.
Yeah, Master. Tatooine.
Maybe we could have had some background where Reva used the Force to trick the younger Jedi into heading to Tatooine, allowing her to follow him there to see if the younger Jedi would flush out Obi-Wan. But no, the tense close call between Owen, Reva and Obi-Wan had nothing to do with Reva's intelligence or skill. The writers just wanted to have a scene with those three characters together. But
okay, so here's the issue. So they're after the Jedi. Is the Jedi looking for Obi-Wan? Maybe. Maybe he got a liaison here. I'm not sure about that. But they're looking for the Jedi, and the Jedi's around here. They're not looking for Obi-Wan specifically at this point. Yeah, the reason the three characters are there, because more importantly, Owen went there at that time, essentially to tell Obi-Wan that he doesn't think it's safe for Obi-Wan to be hanging around. He thinks there's a chance that he will bring a threat to nearby to Luke, and that him being around could be a danger to Luke, and that he would like him to leave. And immediately after that, a danger comes, and Obi-Wan sees that, essentially in his mind, what Owen was telling him was right, and that he should leave to protect Luke.
instead of working that scene into the story in an interesting and plausible way that could have shown Reva to be more than a screaming hothead, they just have it be a coincidence.
You know something?
We also find out later in the season that Vader is very hands-on with the Inquisitors and knows where they are chasing Jedi. So you think when he was sending them out to catch a Jedi on Tatooine, he may have said, look guys, bit of a coincidence today. The Jedi scum you're hunting down happens to be on Tatooine. And I might have never mentioned this before, but I grew up on Tatooine. And by chance, this guy's right near my half-brother. So seeing as you're going to be on Tatooine and so close to my half-brother, could you nick over there and see if he knows anything?
Yes, my lord.
Okay. Whatever, man.
We must take them somewhere where the Sith will not sense their presence.
Yeah, to be fair, we all knew it was questionable that George had Anakin coming from Tatooine after we knew Luke had been hiding out there his whole life. But it now even seems more ridiculous that all this was going on, and not once did Vader tell his henchmen about Owen, or that he's a person of interest.
I guess I'm your stepbrother. I had a feeling you might show up someday.
You have no rights here. We're not under the Empire's...
Hand cut off. Yes. I'm taking full credit for that. I know Robot Head is hugely popular at Lucasfilm, so I'm happy to see someone's been there taking notes regarding my big whinge 3 years ago about the sequels not having enough limbs getting cut off by lightsabers.
Yeah, here's the deal. Limbs aren't usually cut off a lot by lightsabers. Yeah, you get these scenes like in the, like obviously the introduction with the arm. But like lots of times when you see people fight throughout the original trilogy or the prequel trilogy, you don't see like limbs flying all over the place.
What? Just nicked again? What? Why isn't his head off?
What is it you think you will get?
Because she didn't cut all the way through. Is it that hard to understand?
Aim by capturing him.
When I'm old.
Speaking of Uncle Owen, of course, Uncle Owen hates Obi-Wan. And this makes some sort of sense because when they meet, Obi-Wan is portrayed as an idiot who learnt absolutely nothing with...
He fears Obi-Wan being... Essentially, it seems like he knows there's people hunting Jedis because it seems known that Jedis are being hunted. And he fears Obi-Wan being there could lead them to Luke. And he's concerned for Luke because he views Luke as a son. And he doesn't want Obi-Wan there because he thinks that's going to be more dangerous. Obi-Wan being there is going to be more dangerous to Luke than the help he could provide.
With his time with Anakin.
Talked about this. When the time comes, he must be trained.
Like you trained his father?
Hey, Owen, nice bird.
Yeah, and he also has a bad history with training because he trained his father, and his father turned out well, and Owen doesn't want Luke to go down that path.
But remember when you let Shmi die as a Tusken sex slave? And I have to point out, everyone always talks about Obi-Wan having a tough 19 years as he went from looking like this to this in that time. But no one ever mentions Bruce fall off the cliff. Fucking sexist. Obi-Wan's whole story in the prequels was witnessing Anakin's rise and fall. He contributed to the rise and fall by continuing Qui-Gon Jinn's training of the boy that Yoda had warned was too old to start Jedi training. Anakin was 9 years old in Phantom Menace. Luke already looks like he's pushing 9.
When the time comes, he must be trained.
Obi, do you ever learn? So even though Owen didn't know Anakin...
Well, I'm going to assume he doesn't want to train Luke while Jedis are being hunted.
And had only met him briefly, and would most likely know very little about what happened to him, because I don't think Obi-Wan was hanging around the moisture farm on weekends, laughing around the barbecue about younglings dying, and Anakin cooking better than those steaks.
Smells incredible out here.
Christ, Anakin's the whole reason Obi-Wan is hiding on Tatooine, and the reason the Jedi Order fell. But none of that matters because the Lucasfilm writers have Obi-Wan forget everything that happened, and then have Owen remind him that it didn't work out so good last time.
Okay, number one, he's doing that for the audience, and number two, he's bringing it up because it's making the case to Obi-Wan. Like, it's serving a double purpose. It's primarily there for the audience, let's be real. But it's also serving as a reminder to Obi-Wan and the audience of how badly Obi-Wan failed with Anakin.
Lucasfilm really hates Jedi.
Go away!
The Lucasfilm writers so often write from the perspective that the characters have watched the movies. They give them connections that don't exist in the story. Han knew Obi-Wan for a matter of hours, and Princess Leia never met him except at birth, but they called their child Ben after him. Hang on, we're about to retcon that. Rey didn't even understand who Luke Skywalker was 24 hours before telling him they needed the...
So now they're providing a reason for Leia to name her son Ben, and now that's not good enough. Hey, you didn't give enough of a reason for Leia to name their son Ben. How dare you? And now they're giving that reason, and now the argument is, hey, how dare you do that? You can't do that. Just pick a lane, Jesus.
The old Luke back. She also only spent a couple of hours with the guy, yet took his name, a name that should mean fucking nothing to her, unless she's...
Yeah, The Rise of Skywalker is garbage, but we're talking about the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Let's stay eyes on the ball. Eyes on the ball, dude.
Watch the movies. And this is what's happening here. Owen didn't watch the prequels, but somehow he knows what happened between Obi-Wan and Anakin, and how...
He knows that Obi-Wan trained Anakin and that Anakin's now fucking Darth fucking Vader. What else does he need to know?
Obi-Wan got it wrong. And not only that, he has to remind Obi-Wan what happened. Fucking...
Well, you know what? That's also for the audience's sake. That's how you tell stories lots of times, especially if you're drawing on previously established continuity.
Ridiculous.
My responsibility, Owen.
Well, I'm his uncle.
Well, could call yourself an uncle. I mean, it's true your dad, the slave owner, did start having sex with one of his slaves. So technically, yes, you are an uncle, but not by blood.
So leave him on the farm with his family, where he
Well, no, he's treating him like a son. Jesus.
belongs.
But I haven't even mentioned the biggest fuck you this show gives to the original trilogy. This series is actually about Obi-Wan going off on an adventure with Princess Leia. Sorry, Luke, but Disney hates your guts.
My duty is to the boy.
What about your duty to his sister? She's as important as he is.
Princess Leia's stepdad.
Wow, these guys just spit out all the same stuff. This is annoying. Yes, he goes off to protect Leia. Because Owen says, I don't want you here because you might draw attention to Luke and you might put him in danger. Almost immediately after that, they're bombarded by inquisitors and Obi-Wan sees the exact threat he's bringing to Luke. Now, Leia gets kidnapped and Bail's saying, I don't want to send my men after her because I don't want it known she's been kidnapped. Can you please go after her? Perspective of Obi-Wan, Luke doesn't need him, Leia does. Also, from the perspective of Obi-Wan, because he hasn't seen the movies. If you haven't seen the movies, you're not going to know that Luke's the main character. From the perspective of Obi-Wan, Luke and Leia are equally important, and both must be protected equally. If Bail's saying, I can't help Leia, you have to help her, and Owen's saying, I can help Luke, you don't have to help him. Where should he go? Where should he go? I think that makes a lot of fucking sense.
Dad asks Obi-Wan to rescue the kidnapped Leia. Now, before listing the reasons why this is completely ridiculous and breaks the original trilogy and the prequels, I want to first point out, I like young Leia. I'm not so sure by the way she acts that she's not actually a 35-year-old midget, but I think she was a great choice to play the young Leia. I'm also happy to visit her so we can get away from the bloody desert. So if they want to set a whole show around the adventures of Leia, well, no problem. But in Star Wars, Leia and Luke were separated to protect them. Leia was to live with a royal family who have guards and a whole bloody army to protect her. Luke was to be protected at all costs by one silent Jedi guardian. Well, apparently I was wrong about all that because these dumbass writers have Obi-Wan leave Luke alone in the desert to go look for a princess that should have a whole planet looking for her.
I feel like I just explained it. Of course, Robot Head's not listening to me, but yeah, I just explained all of that.
We're just showing the Inquisitors hanging around Luke's town looking for Force-sensitive people. So it's probably not a worse time for Obi-Wan to leave Luke alone.
We cannot let this become public. It would draw too much attention.
Pops doesn't want to draw too much attention. Attention to what? That his royal daughter that everyone knows is missing? Sending the most wanted man in the universe is a better way to draw...
Since when is Obi-Wan the most wanted man in the universe? I missed that part of the story. Now, they did start sharing wanted posters of him, but it was after he saved Leia.
Less attention? Instead of setting your royal guard to save your daughter, you sent a guy that could be detained and executed at any moment. Oh, these writers are so fucking stupid.
Well, if he can't protect Leia in that state, how is he supposed to protect Luke in that state? In one argument, you're saying he's so important that he has to stay and help Luke. In another argument, you're saying he's so powerless he can't help Leia. Using that argument, how can he help Luke? Jesus Christ.
Stupid.
I can't leave the boy.
This isn't about the boy, and you know it.
No, Pops, it is about the boy. It's totally about the boy. Protecting him is...
Dude, they haven't seen the original trilogy. They don't know that's all about Luke. From their perspective, Leia is just as important.
Obi-Wan's only job. You and your army meant to be protecting the sister.
Hidden, safe. The children must be kept.
My wife and I will take the girl.
I will take the child and watch over him.
And it's not just about protecting Luke. Obi-Wan is a Jedi in hiding, like Yoda, who's off living in some muddy bog somewhere. Yoda didn't choose that life because he was afraid. Yoda and Obi-Wan are trying to preserve some remnants of the Jedi Order. If they get wiped out, that's it for the universe.
Until the time is right, disappear we will.
Well, the idea was that Obi-Wan stayed on Tatooine to look after Luke, but Disney hate Luke, and they need to cash in on Obi-Wan. And they don't know how to do that story.
I like it. They hate Luke. Yeah, how dare they give Luke an arc and, set up other things for him? Fuck that, yeah.
I remember many Disney defenders criticising anyone that dared mention the idea of seeing the OT cast together in the sequels. Apparently those oldies had their time being in the original 3 movies. Well, I hate to tell these crazy fans, but Obi-Wan was in all 6 of George's movies. So if the writers can't come up with a story that doesn't break A New Hope, you know, the film that started all this, then they should come up with something new.
General Kenobi, years ago you served my father in the Clone Wars.
Oh, fuck off. No. So we're making it a thing now that Jedi, for no apparent reason, bury their lightsabers in the middle of nowhere. Thanks, JJ. It's always fun watching these shows try and fix the insanity of those sequels. But having Jedi bury their lightsabers, like a dog burying a bone, doesn't make any sense. Obi-Wan's sole job is to protect Luke at any cost. From either...
Okay, I'm not sure why Rey did it. I assumed Rey did it as a tribute, burying their lightsabers where they lived. That being said, the reason Obi-Wan did it was to hide. He doesn't want a lightsaber flopping around to give him away, so he hid it.
Getting murdered or being taken by Vader so he can be trained up for the Emperor. That's a pretty big responsibility for Obi-Wan, keeping the Dark Lord's son from his father in the hope that it might save the future of the universe.
Well, you know what else is important? Keeping the Dark Lord's daughter from the father. They're both equally important. Why don't these guys get that?
But what's he going to do if he finds out Vader's on his way? Jump on the camel sloth, race out to his little hidey spot, which will be a real bastard to find because sand dunes...
Why would he assume that Luke is over there? Why would he assume that? He has no reason to believe Luke is over there at this point.
Constantly move and change. Dig up his lightsaber.
If you want to point out a serious issue, Luke still went by the name fucking Skywalker. That's a pretty big clue who he is. And that's something George did. It's almost like Star Wars doesn't have perfect continuity. But, yeah. There's no reason to believe Luke's in danger. Owen's actually explicitly saying, hey, I think you're going to bring danger here. And then he does essentially bring danger there, more or less. And, yeah, so Owen's proven right. And, you know, so you have Luke, whose protector is saying, we don't need you. And then you have Leia, whose protector is saying, we do need you. Where would you go?
And race back to stop Luke being taken. Doesn't seem the greatest plan. In reality, what Obi-Wan should be doing is training every bloody day.
In your solitude on Tatooine.
And make it obvious he's a Jedi? What if somebody sees him trolling around a fucking lightsaber in the middle of the desert? That's a terrible idea.
Training I have for you.
He was a Jedi Master that witnessed firsthand what happened when this bloodline he's looking out for fell to the dark side. He might want to be a bit more ready for action. Also, when someone is a part of what is essentially a holy war, and then is...
Yes, he saw them fall, which is important because they fell. They're gone. He has to move on, too.
Persecuted for their religious beliefs, that of being a Jedi, they don't normally blame and turn on their own beliefs. It usually makes them more devout. They usually want some type of justice.
I mean, he's not saying I'll never ever be a Jedi again, but he has to turn down being a Jedi for right now so he doesn't draw attention to Luke. That's his whole point.
But this is Disney, so we're working with hacks here.
I'm not who I used to be.
So we're only one episode in, and we've already lined George Lucas up and kicked him square in the nuts and shat all over his original story and life's work. What a wonderful company Disney is. Now, I don't want to skip over the true highlight of episode 1, the kidnapping. What the fuck is Flea doing here? Why do we have to have these stupid cameos? And for the youth out there, a Flea is a bass player from a popular 90s band called the Red Hot Chili Peppers, a once great band that thankfully stopped in the 2000s before they became old and pathetic and started churning out absolute shit music. Now, I don't know if the second unit director shot the kidnapping scene, but whoever did it did a horrendous job because it's laughably bad. Now, not Boba Fett's scooter bad, more like Three Stooges bad. For the youth out there, the Stooges were a popular band in the 70s.
That's peanut butter.
The kidnapping chase felt like being in one of those weird dreams where you either can't punch hard enough or you can't run away fast enough. No one's legs in this scene move properly, and for some reason they can't reach out with their arms, and they just keep running into things. It's really fucking bizarre. So yes, Obi-Wan decides to leave Tatooine and in turn fucking let Luke fend for himself. And what a wonderful disguise he's wearing. He looks just like a Jedi. Continued in episode 2, where we get more weird chasing. Use your arms, Obi-Wan.
So, when we get to the Last Jedi video, and we will, and upon watching this one, what I'm realizing is that Robot Head likes to talk about how stories should be, but doesn't actually understand stories at all. He doesn't understand what the story is trying to tell him, or he purposely misrepresents it. I don't know what it is. But he's just bad. I don't know what else to say other than bad. Just no idea what he's talking about at all. And people are going to be like, how dare you say you don't understand. No, I'm not saying I don't understand what he's talking about. I'm saying he doesn't understand what he's talking about. When it comes to story structure, character development, he has no fucking idea. He's like, hey, it should be this way. Well, if they take an alternate route. Oh, well, that's bad because I didn't want an alternate route. Well, judge it for its own merits. Don't judge it because it's not what you wanted. You don't critique what you want. You critique what you have. Listen, they're going to sell you a story. The story is that Obi-Wan is a Jedi. He's down on his luck. He's hiding out. Jedis are being hunted. And now he has to get back into action and protect someone. That's pretty much the story of this series. You have to sign up for that story. If you're going to go in and say that story sucks immediately, then the story's going to suck. I don't know what to say. If you don't want Obi-Wan to be somebody down on his luck finding his way again, then you're not going to like this. If you want Obi-Wan just be a badass all day in the desert, you're not going to be happy with this. If you want a character that develops throughout the course of the series, maybe you'll enjoy this.
They think order and chaos are somehow opposites and try to control what won't.
I used to fuck guys like you in prison.